But anywho, now I'm totally yours again, and thank you. But yeah, it was cool. And then this week at training, we got asked about going out of town. Another girl went out of town for a gig with a different coach and got to work a match, and it was cool hearing how you can never really get enough training in to be ready for all the different things that could be asked of you. Like, they worked like almost a 20-minute match, and that was the longest she had ever really gone. And her like cardio and conditioning tapped out at a point, and you don't want to be put in that position where you can't best represent yourself and your opponent in the ring have the best match you can. So it was interesting to learn from others who had a similar but different experience as well.
Yeah, but I'm also thinking like a 20-minute match. Like that sounds like a long time.
It is, and it feels even longer when you're in there, and like, yeah, you're already like breathing heavy. You've been hit 30 times, and they're like, all right, you're at 3 minutes. You're like, what? It was like, yeah, you still got 15 minutes to go. Damn. It's crazy.
So what else has been going on in your world?
I am. So I was presented with the information from my landlord, so they would be raising my rent come next month, and it kind of took me aback. So I will be moving in with a fellow trans girl and pro wrestler, actually. And
I think we talked about her.
yeah.
Before.
And there's one girl who is my friend Angie, who is also, and she's a former pro wrestler. She has since retired. But this other girl, her name's Jade, and she's super sick. Yeah.
So what does that look like with Mom being there right now?
Likely she will go back to Florida.
Okay, so she already knows?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Ooh.
Yes. It's been, yeah. I've taken it slow. I've legitimately taken mental health days off of work because it would make me physically sick, but yeah, handling it in stride was really conducive to my needs. I would be able to practice like calming myself down and yeah, feeling my feelings when I needed to feel them in a safe environment, and knowing when to walk away, and it pertains to all of the stressors. Yeah, it's a lot, and I'm still kind of just taking it day by day. I'm still trying to find the best like occupation for me going forward. Getting surgery is going to require me to kind of shake things up in life, and my anxiety will inhibit my risk, my ability to take the risks more immediately that I need. So, yeah, thankfully, having the exercises that you've helped me with, especially with the interpersonal monologues, um, they just really helped me understand how to take life which was always very confusing for me and would make me depressed because it felt so overwhelming that it's like my understanding of that confusion. I have a better connection with it, and it's been very helpful at feeling like I'm making progress, but also that I can't speed up time. I can't address things that will happen in the future beyond what I know I can address immediately, and not straining myself to feel feelings I can't yet feel in terms of progress.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So kind of going back to like the mindfulness piece, like taking it one day at a time.
Exactly. And that can be difficult when the days seem super long, and yeah, sleep is really important. Feeling healthy and regular in life is really important for me. Having accomplished discipline so late in life, it's something I unconsciously value so much that, yeah, I notice how my days are impacted when I'm unable to achieve that discipline that I've gained. Not going to the gym, like, hurts my brain more than my body, in a way.
I see.
Yeah.
There's some irony in that, because whenever we first started working together, you had really struggled with discipline.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yes.
Like, even making appointments was like really hard for you.
Yes, for real though. I remember those times. Like, yeah. Yeah. That progress, I can feel that and give myself that grace and respect. Like, I have respect for myself that I know I can confidently make decisions now, which is, I think, that inherent tie to the discipline that I want, and I impact that confidence when I'm unable to achieve that standard foundation of discipline with myself.
Yeah. And knowing that it's not realistic, like, to have all the same things that you would like to do going on.
Yeah.
Like, going to the gym every day, like, there are going to be some times where you just physically, mentally, or because of time, you can't.
Yeah. Like, I very literally can't.
And so, kind of treating this as like accumulation of positive change. So, each day waking up with an intention of, what is it that I want to get done today, to happen? Paper out, you're like, this is important.
This is, I was like, oh, notes time. That sounded like a note, and I'm going to do it.
But, kind of like setting the scene of like, I'm going to make conscious decisions today. Like, so, for example, for me, like, meditation is kind of like my, like, going to the gym.
Yeah.
And not every day I can or want to meditate, and
Yeah.
I try to find other ways throughout my day to be mindful if that's not going to happen, and giving myself some grace when that's not able
To
to be a
happen.
thing that day. Yeah.
And that's kind of the meditation that happens, is you meditate on the thought of meditating, essentially. Yeah.
Because you're already a very busy person, and so hearing that you're about to move within a month, oh, and we also have surgery,
Yes.
like, objectively for any person, that is really hard to handle. You will
Yeah.
handle it, you will do what needs to be done, but also reminding yourself that not the standard quo that you've built for your life, it might be disrupted a little bit, and that's
Yeah.
okay.
It is. I think I really respond well to change, and um, I don't respond quite as well to uh, like a feeling of Groundhog's Day type of, yeah. Um, it scares me and it impacts that existential dread and makes me feel like existence is a bit less tangible, and it's it's tied to that transgender identity of myself, when because it's really not the gender that opened my eyes to being trans. It's more of that transformative nature behind who I am, that trans identity, or like, yeah, more transformative than about the gender. And yeah, having those thoughts or those times, that was, 30-ish years of being here. um, I'm thankful that I can have an understanding of things I want out of being here, that I thought I had given all the thought I had into why I or anyone is. Now I have these specific conscious decisions about wants and non-anhedonic thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense, because it's really about making conscious choices about who you want to be, and not about being the person that society or other people in your life expect you to be. And I think that's, I mean, this is a cis person talking, but I think that's one of the beautiful things about transgender and non-binary people, is that they take a look around them at one point and go, "Ooh, not this. This is not it for me." And
Exactly.
the ability to go inside and say, what is going to be the best version of life that I can imagine if I'm going to make a choice to be here?
Exactly. And it's a choice that I once felt cursed with waking up to every day, and feel the opportunity to be bestowed more blessings to balance out that cursed feeling, without expecting or demanding that the cursed feelings don't exist or can go away entirely. It's illogical to think that way, and there has to be that bridging kind of a return to, why listen to people who inherently aren't collaborating, essentially. Um, and it's that return to wanting to find that balance and serendipitous relationship with the physical and the metaphysical.
Absolutely.
Yeah. If that makes any sense.
No, it does. It's kind of like you choosing in what degree you're going to engage with the different variables of life and how you're going to show up.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of things in our life that we don't have control over, like capitalism.
Yes.
Any ism that you can think of.
All the isms. Except for, like,
isms.
professionalism. And I received a comment from someone that I hold myself very professionally. And it's just a natural affect of wanting to be the best representation to myself, rather than to other people. And it seems like we naturally would do one instead of the other, try and present to people the best version of ourselves rather than just being it. And other people will, I don't give a fuck about what other people think, but not because it's like a try. It's more of just like an innate behavior, kind of like an Asperger's-esque. I feel a lot of the emotions, but certain ones maybe not so much. And that external fear, but it's really common for people, I guess. That's why they have like public speaking classes in college, and yeah.
Well, and also thinking about, a thought popped in my mind as you were talking of, do we have to have this, rock bottom moment to really be honest with ourselves and, like, what I'm doing, is that making me happy?
Yeah.
And how do I want to live my life differently? And I think about your divorce, and I think you being a partner at that time, you being a husband, that was like a huge part of your identity that was just like stripped away, and then you were like feeling pretty empty.
Yes.
And trying to figure out, okay, well, I have two choices. Either one, I just die and I just end it all right now.
Yeah.
Or I can get really curious with myself about what is it that I want, because clearly me living for others is not doing it.
Straight up.
Yeah.
And that experience of, I'm not sure I was conscious to that shift, but now, it's that you never know when you're going to have the feeling of, like having value for the lowest times in your life, and that thankfulness to people you typically would need to, unforgivable acts. How do you be thankful for that time? And I guess I feel more thankful than I realized, and like, words and those feelings have more power than I understand. My first fan on, we met on Instagram. They're in Australia, fellow trans, and, like, wants to be a pro wrestler. It's just the coolest. And I said something self-deprecating, and they asked me to not do that. They're like, promise me you won't say stuff like that anymore. And it really meant something, and I was kind of taken aback. And when I wrote back that I promised not to, I meant it. And it was like, yeah, a good lesson, a repeated lesson that you have helped facilitate me in understanding its importance, but it's not a part of the show. And I don't have to feel or represent myself in a way that I'm not actually existing as, just because that's how I described it for so long. And yeah, it became kind of habitual to be depressed even when I'm not. So why talk about myself or represent myself in a way that's false just for others? So yeah, I don't know, little anecdote.
I was gonna ask, like, was that a way that you would use to relate to people in the past?
It is. It was actually. It's kind of like commonplace with like an our generation sort of thing. It's the Nirvana, emo, punk, you know.
Yeah.
It's that, everyone's depressed, man, fuck the world, whatever, dude. Yeah, I know fucking nothing's worth it. Like a nihilistic view, or I'm not sure. Yeah.
It reminds me like of those little goth kids on South Park.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I was fucking kill myself, Mom. Oh my god. But it does kind of feel like I say it more as a parody or in mockery of myself. So it's kind of not needed because it definitely doesn't represent me any longer. And people can't see what I'm saying. And that's what happened with her. I was like, oh, she sees me as something that I feel looked up to, I suppose. And it was kind of a moment to give some significance to who I am and what I'm doing. And yeah, I felt seen, and yeah, I was like, okay, yeah, maybe I need to reflect a little, and yeah, because that's what I want. That's the point of turning me into a business and my big ultimate dream. Pro wrestling is an avenue, but there'll be many avenues to pursue to become my fullest form, I suppose. Yeah.
You are limitless.
Yes, but not. I don't know how to live that way beyond myself or someone who understands, because it's most often represented as hubris in people. If somebody thinks they're the shit, usually there is a Kanye West sort of arrogance that developed, you know what I mean? And I wouldn't want to fall victim to that, I suppose.
Well, yeah, but whenever you think of people like Kanye West, um, they're not honest. There are a lot of things they're not honest about.
True. True. And yeah, there is a lot to be said about the honesty of which I plan to live my life, I suppose. Um, I'm I'm unable to achieve the privacy which once made me feel um, the existential nothingness, which made me not want to be here. And that doesn't exist. It's not something readily available in any form. I have to develop and create it uniquely for myself. Um, but it's collaborative. It's as collaborative of a art project as I can imagine, because it has the potential to access the world. It's the internet, everyone has access to me. I just think it's interesting and honest. Yeah.
I mean, I kind of like want to challenge you a little bit.
Yeah.
That's kind of my job.
Yes.
I mean, you say that you want to be accessible to everybody in this vulnerable way that most people don't. They truly don't live their lives. Even celebrities like we talked about don't.
Yeah.
But what about the people that you like? Is there anybody who you would not want to be perceived by or interact with?
So that's why my favorite pronoun is human, because it would be like saying I wouldn't want to interact with Justin because our diametrically opposing beliefs and habits and humanity. I wouldn't want to ostracize anyone just because they are different. And it's because of that, our differences, which even the bad ones, the choices and actions that we make as humans aren't us. We're destroying the world, sure, but each human isn't responsible for it individualistically, which makes like laws and holding people responsible for what they do so difficult, because it's not collaborative. We're trying to make empirical judgment and actions to our actions rather than trying to impact humanity, trying to change the fabric of people, which is what we would need. And that's kind of what I'm here for, is to kind of be a web, a way of weaving anything and everything, because that's the only way we're going to progress as humans.
Yeah, I see what you mean, but also I'm thinking about the very real. Again, I'm challenging you a little bit. I'm thinking about the very real fact that there has been, as of late, like so many anti-trans, anti-LGBTQ legislature going on, and I mean it is kind of like in a way, if you were openly trans and there's not safe space for you,
Yeah.
then you become a target. And I'm just wondering if you worry about that and how you would approach people who very much do not agree and would prefer for you not to exist.
It gives me more resource to work with. Um, it's it's like video games. It's always like video games. Um, I wouldn't want to play a video game that didn't have any bad guys, that didn't have conflict. If everyone supported me, what are we the hero or the victor of? If the competition is everybody wins from the start. So of course I will face that in life. I can't wrestle in Japan because of wrestling in Mexico will be I have to travel with people. Um, I know. I live on Colfax. I receive all kinds of girl. You know what's up. Like all kinds of things happen, and yeah, I've had people laugh in my face as I walk by just out in public. Um,
Assholes.
People treat me rude serving me food, just like I've had people treat me amazingly and be very kind and supportive. Um, I want the full experience, I suppose, and that reality is the game for me. Life is what's a game for everyone, and I want to be like an avatar for anyone and everyone. Whether it's it's something you hate, which is necessary. That's why I love pro wrestling. Like, there's a lot to be said about being a heel, being the bad guy. Your job is to get people to boo you and want somebody to give you your comeuppance. That is your job, and that it's my favorite form of theater because people can genuinely feel things they just can't anywhere else. If they can get past that barrier of seeing it as like a sport, something that they could do themselves, and that's kind of that line when you go to a Broadway show. People don't sit in the audience and think, I can go up there, learn that choreography, sing all those notes. Singing is especially something that humans are straight up like, I can't sing. I can't do that. But wrestling is this weird amalgam of art and sport. And sport, anyone could play it. Anyone could play sports. You just learn the sport, do the athletics. Poker is a sport. Not even inherently athletic, but it's that competitive nature. So you either understand what you're watching and you see the stories, you see it as a musical that just never stops, or you like that shit's fake and people think that they understand what's happening, and that bridging of people thinking they know what's going on, that's what I'm here for. People think they know what transgenderism is. I would love, let me talk to the whole world. Come on, Saudi Arabia. I'm not saying anything about your religion. I'm just saying something about us as humans. Humans and humans.
I'll leave you with this one thing to sort of reflect on.
Yeah.
Is, I get that you're wanting to embrace and experience the encompassing, like the positive, the negative, the good, the bad,
Yeah.
the neutral. But when we talk about oppression and abuse and hate, like it's impossible for you not to be impacted by that personally.
Absolutely.
So what are you going to do to deal with that and not assign that to your worth as a person?
That's what healers are for. And that's
that's why I see you.
Yes. Well, and for real, you are a licensed professional of the brain, and the fellow community members, that fanship, the art that I'm bringing to the world, that's what heals me. That's how I know I welcome that conflict, because that's not what made me doubt wanting to be here. And that, yeah. I know hate awaits me out there, but it's like, training and gaining experience, allocating new skill points before you take on the next boss. I know it's going to come, and being fearful will inhibit my ability to progress in the game of life. And I can always pause and regroup, fast travel back home and talk to your fellow guild members. There are like-minded individuals on this planet, and having reached one person in Australia, this is just my beginning, and to have just such fulfillment in literally tackling hate is it makes me feel hopeful, and I think that's the best just single word answer. It's just hope. I have hope that I am strong enough to do it. I don't know how exactly to navigate everything that will happen, but I'm hopeful. I have faith in myself that I can handle it. And it's like a we. I feel a we. We can handle it. All the me's, but also my halo of people. You included.
That's really moving. I mean, even being a human myself, that's not something that I have even considered, that approach. To be honest with you, I just the shit out of things that terrify me.
Yeah.
And it's inspiring. And look at you giving me food for thought over here.
Girl, I love you. You're a powerhouse, yo. And we got this. The legislation changing is progress. Which way the pendulum swings is it's time that is truly bringing us down. Not necessarily that hate still exists. It's just time. It's going to swing back. And when it does, it's going to swing back even farther because of the weight that they've put on their side.
So an end note is we will come back swinging.
Hells yeah, we will. Hit him with a forearm. Bah!
Oh, okay. Good talk today.
Yeah, this was great.
You'll probably get a phone call about this.
Okay.
I am needing to cancel our appointment on the 21st of this month.
Okay.
Because I will have people in my home doing things so that my home can stay maintained.
No problem.
And I don't have any control of the schedule, so...
No problem.
So I'm just going to go ahead and cancel that. And...
Do we have one for the following week?
We do. We
Cool.
are scheduled all the way up until the 26th of May. So we're good.
Excellent. Well, enjoy your renovation.
Thanks. I'm just like, here we go. If you need anything, let me know. If not, I believe I will see you next week.
Sick.
Yeah, next Friday.
Fun, 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 till your daddy takes your T-bird away.
You take care.
You too, Autumn. Much love. Thank you so much for today.
Bye, Erza.
Bye. Thank you for joining me on Counseling with Erza today. I hope you have a great day and that you are well loved and respected by yourself and by those you keep in your support network of humans, because we choose what we expose ourselves to. Add a baby, it's a boy. And I love you, Saint Sinner 74. Thank you for popping in. I'll go and make sure I follow you. Love you and all the things you do.